Good evening. I hope everyone in the sound of my voice is doing well. My name is Carla Daly, and I'm the founder of Empower Her Enterprise, which is a nonprofit 501c3. Um, Empower Her Enterprise. We are all committed to supporting women through mentorship, leadership development, and meaningful conversations that strengthen confidence, clarity, and emotional well being. This evening, um, we will be discussing, and I have two special guests in the building, an important issue around recognizing the signs of unhealthy love. This impacts your peace, your safety, and your self worth. This conversation encourages you to trust your instincts, honor your boundaries, and make choices that support your well being. In the building this evening, we have Miss Tiffany Hayes. Tiffany is the proud Queens New Yorker who spent 27 years in the city before journeying through North Carolina and Florida, eventually settling in Georgia 10 years ago. She is a resilient single mother of two, a business owner, and a healthcare professional. Tiffany's life is defined by her unwavering heart for people, having triumphed over a 15-year marriage as a domestic violence survivor. She has turned her pain into purpose. Tiffany is deeply passionate about helping others, knowing that by sharing her story, she can offer a lifetime of hope and blessings to fellow survivors on their own path to healing. Tiffany, thank you. We appreciate you for being on.
Yes, yes, yes. Good evening.
Good evening. Next, we have Denise Jackson, who is a dedicated advocate, a facilitator, and a community leader committed to empowering individuals and transforming lives. As a New York State certified peer specialist, and hopefully I get this next one right, CAS acti-
Case case
uh,
active.
Okay, thank you. She blends professional expertise with genuine compassion while serving vulnerable communities. She also works with individuals facing addiction, mental health challenges, social exclusion, while offering coping skills, spiritual encouragement, and advocacy. Her mission is to help people rediscover their worth, rebuild stability, and pursue meaningful opportunities in education, employment, and community engagement. Wow! I have two fabulous women in the building this evening, and we are going to talk about recognizing the signs of unhealthy love. Now, I will be offering questions to the panelists, and they will discuss their views and thoughts about the questions that I pose to them. So, are you ladies ready?
We are.
Okay,
Yes.
my first question is care versus control. How can someone tell the difference between the two when they both look very familiar? One of you guys take it away.
Care versus control.
Yep.
When somebody truly cares about you, um, you can, I mean, caring, um, they don't care if you're with them all the time. They don't care if you're apart from them. They allow you to have your own sense of individuality. They care about your well being, your sanity. Control can look like wanting you to be with them 24/7. You can't come out of their sight. Um, they want to just monopolize every bit of your time, and then also just wanting to be present in every situation, want to know your whereabouts every 5 seconds. So it can be, as you can see, wanting to know your whereabouts that could be mistaken for really, caring, wanting to know that you're okay, but in a sense, it is actually control.
And you know what's interesting? Sometimes in the beginning of a relationship, some people think it's cute. He just wants to know where I'm at. I have to let him know when I leave the market and I go to the car, or when I leave the car and go to my house. Like that's an issue because we all know that that's not necessarily what you want to see happen in a relationship. Ms. Jackson, would you like to add to that?
Yes. Okay. So care looks like mutual respect. we can be our individual selves and we could come together, where control is where one person makes all the decisions and tells the other one what to do, what to
Oh,
wear, who to
mhm.
spend time with, and unreasonable jealousy is looked at as control, where care is mutual respect. It's okay to visit your family and friends. It's
Mm,
okay that you have pursuits and ideas of your own.
okay. Early signs of abuse. What signs do most people overlook in the beginning of a relationship?
I would have to say walking on eggshells, just noticing that certain things that you may discuss may trigger the person, and then you find yourself having to walk around on eggshells and have to be careful about what you do, what you say, because if you say or do the wrong thing, it might make that person explode.
Mm. Miss Jackson. Thanks, Tiff.
Um, I would say dishonesty in little things. We could easily say, oh, that was just a little small white lie. Usually, like little things adding up or the cover up of something bigger, dishonesty. And sometimes people say, oh, the small white lies, but continuously catching someone in half truths and half lies is definitely something to pay attention to.
Emotional manipulation. How does it show up in the beginning stages and why is it easy to miss?
I would have to say love bombing when they shower you with gifts um, to avoid dealing with the problem at hand, making it seem like it's not a big deal, not wanting to address whatever's going on so that it doesn't continue to pile up, just making it seem like, we just, everything that just happened doesn't even matter. Let's just move on. You should forgive me and just move on. You shouldn't be upset. However, um, when you flip the script, if it were you on the other, if it was the reverse, it wouldn't be the same way.
Miss Jackson.
Um, I believe the average person desires a loving, caring relationship, but sometimes when she said the love bombing, establishing getting a person getting you to fully trust them and cause you to put all your guards down. You
Mm,
know, that's something we got to be careful of because we should never fully put our guards down, but be wise as far as gathering information about a person and really taking the time to get to know who we're getting ourselves involved with and not get caught up in the love bombing and it's hard because the average person wants to find a mutually satisfying relationship, but to be on the safeguard of not dropping your guard so much where you lack the wisdom to really see what's going on. So getting you to drop your guards down.
so you mean to tell me that I've met this fantastic man? I'm in love. It's 3 months and I am in love and I'm ready to get married. What's so wrong with that, Miss Jackson? What is so ladies? What's so wrong with that?
You got to take your time. Don't rush it. Get to know the person, see their patterns, because what may seem as if the perfect relationship, when you actually take that next step, it could take a turn for the worse. So you really have to be careful and just look out for the signs. And it's hard because a lot of times when you're so, quote unquote, in love and caught
All
up,
that.
you
Yeah.
will miss the signs.
Did you want to add to that, Miss Jackson? I
Um,
listen. I met him. I am madly in love with him. It's been 4 weeks. It's been 6 weeks, and I need to marry him. What is the problem? You ladies, what's the problem? Why are you giving me so much headache behind this?
these are not my words. I heard a wise person say we need to take the time to learn people in all seasons. learn them in their fall, their winter, their spring, and their summer. There's something about seasons that show you the different sides of a person. So even though we may feel like, oh, it's 3 months and I'm sure, you need to know what somebody's like when they're angry. You
Mm-hmm.
need to know what somebody's like when they're sad. You need to know those emotions, and those don't come out in 3 months. It just doesn't.
Because they're too busy love bombing you. Is that it?
Yes.
It's so exciting and so
Yeah.
invigorating. And
Yep.
everything is perfect.
Yep. Mhm.
Isolation. What role does isolation play, and what are the subtle behaviors that signal the madness behind that?
So isolation. Hmm. So when someone wants you to move away from your support system, move to where they are versus coming to where you are, and then also when certain things go down, certain situations, um, they will taking your communication system away from you, your phone. Let's say you're on a plan and they pay the bill. They may want to take your communication from you
Mm-hmm.
and keep you from calling out for help, and reaching out to your family, reaching out to, um, you know, uh, the police. If you have to reach out to the police because you're in a situation where you need help, um, they will do that. But mainly just taking you away from that support system where you don't really have many people around, and they can do whatever they want with you.
Miss Jackson.
Um, Isolation plays a very big part because if a person can keep you away from a fresh set of eyes, that's not that's not impartial and can look at a person and really like see what we can't see.
Mm-hmm.
We should never be so in love that we don't want our friends and family to, be a part of that. Certain situations are different, where there is some distance, but for the most part, our friends and family love us, care about us, and want us to be with someone that adds to our life and not take away. So keeping you isolation plays a big part in keeping you away from another set of eyes and another voice of reason. Everybody needs a voice. Everybody needs to hear from someone other than themselves
Yeah.
about a situation. So, removing a person from a fresh set of eyes.
So what's next, ladies? Someone finds themselves in a situation like this. What's next? What do you do? Are you overthinking it because what you see is really real, but you want to think that it's not because you're so in love? What steps? What do they do? How do they maneuver out of a situation like this?
I would say first, if you are a believer, or you believe in a higher power, whatever higher power you believe in, I would say first pray, and then start developing an escape plan. Start developing a way that you can get out. You may not fully be ready to get out, but start developing an escape plan. There's counseling out there that can help you to maneuver and get up enough strength to actually get yourself out. Reaching out to friends, family members, that you trust, to tell them what's going on. And it may be difficult, but somebody has to know other than you.
But Tiff, escape. What does that look like? Like what is I'm in an abusive relationship and I need to get out, but I don't know what that looks like. Where do I go? Where do I start? What do I do?
There are shelters. There's women's shelters. As much as you may not want to go to a shelter.
Hmm.
Your safety, as well as if you have children, is more important than worrying about being in a shelter. So, you know, just trying to map out, what would be the best way to get out, and maybe even consulting with somebody to help you with that, um, because a lot of people don't make it out.
I know that. Miss Jackson, would you like to add to that?
Yes. As far as, there's many different ways of getting the help that is needed. They have individual counseling, they have group counseling, and there's many, different agencies that support individuals that find themselves. They have lines where you can remain anonymous, and don't have to say, specifically where you are or who you are, and really take the time to talk about, what you're experiencing so that, you move wisely in that situation.
What about people feeling embarrassed? Do you think that folks often don't make a move because they're embarrassed about what friends and family are going to say regarding their situation?
Very much so. And I'm a true testament of that.
Would you like to elaborate on that tip some?
Yes. So I am a 15-year domestic violence survivor. And I found myself in a situation where, even to this day, a lot of my family knows more now, but did not realize what I was actually going through. They know that I'm a domestic violence survivor, but they didn't know the specifics as
Mm.
to really what was going on. And so, yes, I found myself a little bit ashamed and even just embarrassed. And that is one of the reasons why it took me a while to actually get out. But I got to a point where I realized that it just wasn't healthy, and that it wasn't a healthy situation to be in for myself nor my children. So I had to make tough decisions, and I had to just go ahead and just let people know what was going on. And but yes, that can be a factor as to why people don't get out or take longer to get out, because they are just afraid, of what people would think. And you can't be afraid. And I'm not going to tell you what to do, but don't ever be afraid, because just as you're going through it, somebody
Mhm.
else may be going through it currently or have
Mhm.
gone through it. And there is so much support out there. It just takes courage. And I am one of those people that had enough courage to get up and realize it and walk away.
And I thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate it so very much because, like you said, there's someone right now that's in a very bad situation that needs to be removed from that situation. And so um, I will leave details regarding help in the details to this webinar. Uh, Ms. Jackson, would you like to add to that?
Of course, we think about somewhere in that journey about what are people going to think, but then, there's levels to it, and one of the levels I'll say is that sometimes we say, "Oh, it's not so bad."
Mm,
Um, maybe I can. What can I do as women? And it happens to men as well, but we're nurturers, and for the most part we stay, we're stayers, we want the long haul. But that's when we have to go within ourselves and really like examine what's really happening. And for some, it's not always physical, so they could say, oh, it's emotional, it's not that bad. I could endure, but
mm.
you don't really see the damage until you're not in it anymore. So really, like, but really having the conversations and the courage to do what you need to do for yourself, because every person should be safe in a relationship, and all safety isn't represented in physical scars. Sometimes it's mental and emotional scars, which people can't see. So we need to be mindful of that and think about, ultimately we're dealing with it. People may wish us well, or, say, oh, I wouldn't do this or I should do this. You never know what you're going to do until you're in a situation. You don't know. Because who plans for that? So,
And what about the
thank you.
children? What about the children? How does this affect the children?
Uh, a lot of times, and see, back in the day, in the old, I like to say the old days, A lot of times people, they stay together for the children. But what I
Mm,
had to, what you have to realize, and what I had to realize was that sometimes it's more detrimental to the children, because
mm,
then you find them having to get counseling. They're
mm,
traumatized. They have issues later on, mentally, because we stayed and that's what we thought was best. But in actuality, sometimes, and God doesn't like divorce. However, he also doesn't want us to go through,
mm,
he doesn't want us to go through situations like that. So, you know, um, getting out, you're doing, or by staying, you're doing more of a disservice to your children than you are by getting out. Sometimes it's better parenting them from apart, than actually being in the same home, depending on what's going on, because you don't want them to be, and I just give an example. You don't want them to be afraid to where, and the television is on and it's loud and they think you're fighting. And then that is
mm.
an issue. That
Yeah.
was an issue for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, we got to do something about this. It can't continue. I can't have my baby, can't have your baby running out or just scared, for every little thing. Every time you raise your voice or to hear somebody raising voice. No, something's got to give.
Mm, mm. For those who are in a detrimental situation, they want to get out. They're not sure how to get out. We know there's a ton of resources. I guess my question would be, when you look in the mirror at yourself, what do you see? What should you see? If you see this girl who was once beautiful, and we know that this happens to men as well, who was beautiful and had tons of friends and she loved her family, she loves to hang out, but one day she wakes up and looks in the mirror and who she sees isn't who she is, what should she do? Where does she start? And how does she find herself again? That's a deep question, right? How do you find yourself again? How do you find yourself again? Miss Jackson?
Um, that's a very good question.
Uh-huh.
How do you begin to find yourself? Um, it's such a it looks different for everyone, but I think the first positive thing is to pray, and to pray and really be honest. Your higher power, whatever your choice of faith is or what you believe in, and be honest. Get in your private place and be honest and say what you're feeling. And when you say it out loud, it's something about when you say things out loud or write it down or get a piece of paper, write it down, go buy some water, and really just like, but that first conversation is with you. That first conversation is with you. And then after, ask yourself, who can I open up with and share this with that can navigate me properly, because it's a navigation. Anybody with wisdom would never tell somebody to do A, B, and C without giving them a plan. It's very dangerous making escape plans. So really like acknowledging what you need to do, the safety plan, and the different things that you're going to have to go through, because while you're going through these things, you're in fight or flight. So you don't have time to look in the mirror and think about what you look like,
Okay.
because you just happy to just get out the door, get out of bed, go put your smile on and do life. But that downtime, really take a time to pray and be honest about where you are. And if you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, scream. And then after you do that, I use the expression, put on our big girl panties and do the necessary and really open up. But it starts with opening up. And don't open up where nobody can help you. If they don't have the answer, don't go to people who don't have the answer.
Mm-hmm.
That save you a lot of time and pain. Because some people, well-meaning, and I think that's the big, well-meaning people will give you bad advice.
That's well
So
said.
really take the time to speak to someone who can navigate you, where all parties involved have a way to exit properly, safely, so that, you know, because it is a family situation, and you know, we have to share and figure that out as we do what we need to do for ourselves. So it's not a one and done. It's not.
Tiff, did you want to add to that?
I would say I have to agree a lot with what Pastor Jackson just said. So yes, Miss Jackson,
Hmm.
um, the so yes, definitely pray. And like she said, developing that escape plan is dangerous. So also consulting with also consulting with you know, you can consult with somebody that may be in the legal field, and not the legal field, but the law enforcement field.
Yeah.
If you know somebody personally, just to make sure that as you're developing this escape plan, that, maybe, they can be on the lookout or on guard. For me, you know, I have experience in that area. So also counseling, yes, like she said, somebody that's qualified um, to help you to get out or give you good advice, sound advice, because you don't want to just talk to anybody because this is a very sensitive situation, and getting out, or the process of getting out cannot always go. It may not always go so smoothly,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and once the person finds out
It's
that you're
dangerous.
either developing it, they get any sense of you developing that plan, or once you actually go, like, it's not over. You just have to be on the lookout, and, also, may have to put certain things in place, so that you can protect you and your children if you have children.
Ladies, I thank you so much for taking time out of your busy evening. I want to give you back your evening. But once again, I appreciate you ladies being here, and I hope to see you soon. I will leave additional details regarding information that you can utilize if you find yourself in a domestic violence situation. Until next time, we love you. Bye, ladies. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.